My name is Allie. I am 10 years old, and I live with my family in a small, quiet town. My family is not rich, but we are very happy together. We live in a simple house with 2 bedrooms, a small kitchen, and a living room where we all sit together every evening. My father works in an office. He leaves home early in the morning and comes back in the evening. My mother stays at home and takes care of me and my little sister, Aisha. She also cooks delicious food for us every day. My sister is 6 years old. She is very cheerful and always smiling. She loves to draw pictures and show them to me. Every morning, I wake up at 6 o'clock. I wash my face, brush my teeth, and make my bed. My mother calls me for breakfast. We usually eat bread, eggs, and milk. My father reads the newspaper while drinking tea. My sister talks about her toys and cartoons. We laugh and talk together. I love these mornings because my family is together and peaceful. One day, my father told me that I would start school soon. I felt both excited and nervous. I had never gone to school before. I wondered how my teachers would be and if I would make friends. My mother smiled and said, "Don't worry, Allie. School is a nice place. You will learn many new things." My sister clapped her hands and said, "You will wear a new uniform." That made me smile. A few days later, my mother took me to the market to buy my school things. We bought a blue uniform, black shoes, white socks, a school bag, notebooks, pencils, and an eraser. I felt very proud holding my new bag. When we came home, I showed everything to my father and sister. My father said, "You look like a real student now." I stood in front of the mirror and smiled at myself. The night before my first day at school, I could not sleep easily. I kept thinking about my classroom, my teacher, and my classmates. My mother came into my room and said softly, "Sleep well, my son. Tomorrow is a big day for you." I closed my eyes and tried to relax. In the morning, I woke up early. My mother helped me wear my uniform. She combed my hair and cleaned my shoes. My father gave me a gentle hug and said, "Do your best and be brave." My sister waved her hand and said, "Good luck, brother." We walked to school together. The school building was big and colorful. There were many children and parents at the gate. Some children were crying, and some were laughing. When I entered my classroom, my heart was beating fast. The room had small desks and chairs. There was a blackboard on the wall and pictures of letters and numbers. A kind-looking woman came in. She smiled and said, "Good morning, children. I am your teacher, Miss Sarah." Her voice was soft and friendly. I felt a little better. Miss Sarah asked us to sit down and tell our names one by one. When it was my turn, I stood up and said, "My name is Allie." My voice was low, but she smiled and said, "Welcome, Allie." That made me happy. Then she taught us the English alphabet. She wrote A, B, and C on the blackboard. We repeated after her. I liked the sound of the letters. During the break, I sat alone at first. I felt shy to talk to anyone. Then a boy came and sat next to me. He said, "Hi, my name is Ahmed. What is your name?" I said, "My name is Allie." He smiled and said, "Nice to meet you." We talked about our favorite games. He liked football, and I liked cricket. We became friends quickly. When school ended, my mother was waiting for me at the gate. I ran to her and said, "I like my school." She smiled and said, "I knew you would." At home, I told my family everything about my teacher, my classroom, and my new friend. My father listened carefully and said, "I am proud of you." Days passed, and I started enjoying school more and more. I learned new words in English every day. Miss Sarah taught us simple words like cat, dog, and apple. At home, I practiced these words with my sister. She laughed when I tried to teach her. My mother also helped me. She asked me, "What is this in English?" and showed me different things. One evening, my father said, "Allie, English is very important. It will help you in the future." I nodded my head. I wanted to speak English well. I started watching English cartoons and listening to simple English songs. At first, I did not understand everything, but slowly I began to understand more words. My family always supported me. My mother praised me when I learned a new word. My father asked me to read small English sentences. My sister clapped when I said something correctly. I felt confident and happy. I realized that my family, my school, and my English learning were all connected. My family gave me love and support. My school gave me knowledge and friends. English gave me a new way to understand the world. Every night before sleeping, I thought about my day. I thanked my family for their care. I thanked my teacher for her kindness. I promised myself to study hard and become a good student. This was just the beginning of my journey. I knew that many new things were waiting for me. I was ready to learn, grow, and dream. And I was not alone, because my loving family was always with me. My name is Allie, and now I want to tell you more about my school life and how I started speaking English. After my first few days at school, I was no longer scared. I began to feel comfortable in my classroom. I liked sitting at my small desk and opening my notebooks. I liked hearing my teacher's voice and seeing words written on the blackboard. Every morning, I woke up early and got ready for school. My mother packed my lunch and kissed my forehead. My father reminded me to listen to my teacher and study well. My sister always said, "Teach me English when you come back." I smiled and promised her. At school, I met my friend Ahmed every day. We sat together in class. We shared pencils, erasers, and sometimes our lunch. Ahmed was very friendly and funny. He made me laugh when I felt bored. We played together during break time. Sometimes we ran in the playground, and sometimes we just sat and talked. Miss Sarah, our teacher, was very kind and patient. She always smiled and spoke slowly. She taught us English words, numbers, and simple sentences. She said, "Good morning, children," and we replied, "Good morning, teacher." She taught us to say, "How are you?" And, "I am fine, thank you." I liked these small sentences. They made me feel smart. At first, English was not easy for me. Some words were hard to say. I felt shy to speak in front of the class. My voice became low, and my hands felt cold. But Miss Sarah always encouraged me. She said, "Allie, it is okay to make mistakes. Just try." Her words gave me courage. One day, Miss Sarah asked me to come to the front and read a simple sentence. The sentence was, "I like apples." My heart was beating fast. I stood up and walked slowly to the blackboard. I looked at the words and read them softly. "I like apples." Miss Sarah clapped her hands and said, "Very good, Allie." The whole class clapped too. My face became red, but I felt very happy. When I went home that day, I told my family about it. My mother hugged me and said, "I am proud of you." My father smiled and said, "Keep practicing. You will become better." My sister jumped and said, "Say something in English to me." I said, "I like apples." She laughed and clapped. After that day, I started practicing English more seriously. Every evening, I opened my notebook and read the words again and again. I wrote them slowly and carefully. My mother helped me read. My father asked me questions in English like, "What is your name?" And, "How are you?" I answered slowly, but I tried. I also started watching English cartoons. At first, I did not understand much. The characters spoke very fast. But I listened carefully. I tried to guess the meaning of words. Slowly, I began to understand simple words like hello, goodbye, yes, no, and thank you. I felt excited when I understood something without help. At school, Miss Sarah taught us new sentences. She taught us to say, "My name is Allie, and I am 10 years old." She taught us names of colors, animals, and fruits. I liked learning about animals. I learned words like cat, dog, cow, and bird. At home, I pointed at my sister's toy and said, "This is a cat." She smiled and said, "You are my English teacher now." One day, our school had a small English activity. Miss Sarah asked some students to say a few sentences in English. I was very nervous. I did not want to go, but Miss Sarah looked at me and smiled. She said, "Allie, you can do it." I stood up and went to the front. I said, "Good morning. My name is Allie. I like cricket." My voice was shaking, but I finished my sentences. Everyone clapped. I felt very proud of myself. After that, my confidence grew. I was no longer afraid of speaking English. I started using small English words at home. I said, "Good morning," instead of, "Good morning," in my own language. I said, "Thank you," when my mother gave me food. My family was happy to see my progress. Ahmed also liked English. We practiced together at school. We asked each other simple questions in English. Sometimes we made mistakes and laughed. But we did not feel ashamed. We knew we were learning. One evening, my father sat with me and said, "Allie, learning English is like planting a tree. You water it every day, and one day it becomes big." I liked his words. I decided to water my English tree every day. I started keeping a small diary. Every day, I wrote 2 or 3 English sentences. They were very simple. For example, I go to school. I like my teacher. I play with my friend. Writing these sentences made me feel happy. Slowly, English became a part of my life. I did not feel scared anymore. I enjoyed learning new words. I enjoyed speaking small sentences. I enjoyed teaching my sister. My school life became beautiful. I loved my classroom, my teacher, and my friends. I loved learning new things every day. I loved the feeling of becoming better. I understood that learning English was not just about words. It was about courage, practice, and support. My family supported me. My teacher guided me. My friend encouraged me. And I supported myself by not giving up. Now, when I look back, I smile. I remember the shy boy who was afraid to speak. And I see the boy who is trying his best to learn and grow. This is my school life and how I started speaking English. My journey is still going on. I know I still have a lot to learn. But I am not afraid anymore. I am ready to learn more, speak more, and dream more.